If you could give AI a space mission of its own without any human astronauts involved, what would it be? And what kind of personality would you program for the journey? Let's hear Alex Belli share his vision of what would make this mission truly extraordinary.
I will use AI. Let's imagine like an AI like type of a robot, not whatever robot you can imagine that can be used to explore other worlds. So let's say, for example, Titan. So the advantage of AI is the only resources it needs is energy. It doesn't need to sleep, doesn't need to eat. So when you send this AI there, you don't need to bring tons of things with rockets. So it's cost saving. So that will be really interesting. And also it's more resistant in an environment that is absolutely not suited for human life. So AI will be, I guess, an extremely well tool to explore. And now the question that can be asked is like, why spending so much on a system that can be done by a rover? So kind of the question, like which personality can we give to the AI in order to do something better than the human cannot do, or at least at the same level that a human can do. So the rover now that are imagined on Mars, they are following steps that are given by human on the ground. They say, go there, do that, explore this, drill this rock, go there. So first, the signal takes some time to arrive, and the rover is limited. It cannot take any decision. If there is something interesting but that the human didn't see, the rover will not necessarily go there. So now we imagine the AI as taking lead, being able to explore by itself, and to see something interesting, let's do it. And for the question about what I will give as a treat, I will give like playfulness. Because when we are playful, especially when we look at young kids, it's incredible the creativity that they are doing, where they are doing stuff. Imagine this little robot on Titan taking two rocks and smashing the rock together. A human will not necessarily do that. But by doing so, the rock might break and we can see some mineral inside, something that we can reward. We can reward the AI, say, with this behavior, with this playfulness behavior, that's a good behavior to have. Or even more, throwing the rock. By throwing the rock, we can have a video of the rock flying in the atmosphere, so we can understand more, or is the atmosphere, or is the gravity, what's the density of the rock? All this kind of scientific question that we can have, that a rover now cannot throw a rock just to see, or is the rock flowing in an atmosphere. And it can be, in the case of Titan, like throwing the rock in water, and we don't know what the compound under that will move. We don't know what it's made of, but maybe we can discover a new thing. So I think this AI, and another aspect of it is, I think AI needs to fail. Because human intelligence, learn by failing. We fall first when we are kids, then we stand up, then we learn to fall less, and then we stand up. And I think AI is the same. So it will fail, and we have to recognize that, to know that it might not be perfect at the beginning, but the AI will learn by itself and build an intelligence, almost like a kid is building an intelligence, and will help us to learn and discover a new thing by just being curious and playing. So that's what I will do.
What if your MAIA or suit tool saved the day in a sci-fi movie? Here's Makhan's take.
Well, I've got to say, I'm a huge science fiction fan. I've watched like everything from like 100 years ago, Metropolis to the recent ones. I love this question, but is it a Hollywood or a Bollywood movie? That depends on that. So Bollywood is more dramatic, right? So picture this, like it's a scene in a near future thriller where wildfires are raging in the west, toxic smog blankets the east, and there's a heat dome stretching across the Midwest. Well, the irony is it's not science fiction. It's just Tuesday. Like there are fires going on on the West Coast right now. But anyways, so and somewhere on a forgotten server folder lies the only clue that could save us. And there is this lone scientist typing on the dusty terminal like, "Hey chat SSAI, can you find unprocessed tempo observations with nitrogen dioxide anomalies over the eastern seaboard?" I know Hollywood or Bollywood changed this sentence to something more palatable. and our AI assistant kicks in and cross-reference tempo imagery, Maya metadata, historic emission profiles, and flags rogue industrial plume or volcanic eruption or something, and alerts go out, lives are saved, and so on and so forth. And the fun part is the next morning, a policy meeting actually includes real science-based data, and not just that. The data hits so hard that the Congress is moved to reinstate every cancelled science mission. So now that is fiction. And suddenly NASA's budget surpasses the military's because we finally realize that the planet that we live on, defending it is more important. Defending it from ourselves is worth the funding. So who plays? I don't know. Dev Patel, maybe, because representation matters, I think. And maybe if it's a Bollywood movie, Shah Rukh Khan for that dramatic, emotional third act monologue where he convinces a room full of indifferent politicians to fund environmental data infrastructure or future satellite missions. I know it sounds ridiculous, but there is something real about all this. I don't know if you've seen Don't Look Up, the recent movie where scientists were not taken seriously because they don't speak in like prime time clickbait kind of language. And there's another movie, older one, maybe from 20 years ago, 25 years ago. It's an Australian comedy called The Dish. It's about the engineers that keep the mission alive. It's about the Apollo mission, and then the scientists from US, they go to Australia to make sure that they can use their ground stations. So that's why the movie is called The Dish, and it's hilarious. It's really cool.
What would your digital twin be beyond Earth, and how could machine learning help? Here's Brandon's view.
Yeah, that's a great question. So personally, I would say myself, or maybe more specifically my body. So I think that the idea of personalized medicine is a really interesting one that AI can really contribute to. I mean, having a digital twin of your body, you're talking about being able to see the progression of disease, forecast the progression of disease before it actually happens, and actually address it before it becomes problematic. You're able to have medicine actually tailored to your biology, being able to have the efficacy of the medicine maximized with the side effects minimized. Having a digital twin of your body enables things that really are only in the dream of doctors at the moment, but I think that could really impact the progression of health and humans in general were we to develop something like that. I want to say that the personalized medicine aspect of it is really a fundamental thing that digital twins are able to aid in. But from that standpoint, I think that AI gets kind of a somewhat bad rap, which in certain cases absolutely worth the rap it gets. But with that said, as Alex had mentioned, it's a tool to use. I think that it's all in about how you use it, and something really to benefit humanity, like personalized medicine, having a digital twin of the human body, enabling doctors to focus on not on reactivity, but actually on addressing problems before they occur. It really is a fundamental shift in the healthcare system that could really change in a radical way how we view health.